Welcome to another episode of the Creative Masterminds Podcast. You see me cheesing.
What up, y'all?
What's up? This is the 8th episode of the Creative Masterminds Podcast.
Yeah.
And like I said before, I'm super cheesing because I'm happy to be here with you guys. I'm thrilled. You already know our format. We're going to have two topics.
Right.
Our first topic is experiences, the importance of having experiences. The second topic is getting out of your comfort zone to have those experiences.
Right.
But, first and foremost, we always want to talk about our week. And so, like I always do, like I do in every episode, I'm going to defer. I'm going to defer the cast.
Yeah.
I think last time I actually said your government name, my bad.
I didn't even catch that, though.
Yeah, check it. I said your government name. I'm going to defer the cast. Tell me about your week and what went down with you.
Yeah, man, I had a dope weekend, a dope week that led into the weekend. It was spending time with the kids and, making sure the young ones were good, like, as a father, as I do, you know.
Yeah.
And then for the weekend, it was real dope. There was a fight, Sean Porter.
Oh, it's like a fight at Walmart.
Yeah.
And there was a fight I saw at Walmart and went to the store.
Yeah, I had to jump in and referee that thing.
But no, yeah. Fight. Oh, yeah, okay. Sean Porter. I saw him on the Breakfast Club. Okay, that's why he was there. Okay.
Sean
gotcha.
Porter,
Okay.
yeah, and Danny Garcia.
Okay.
It's a fight I've been looking forward to.
Oh, nice.
I'm into the boxing and stuff, so I do a little glove talk, not a podcast, but a little thing I do on Instagram. I give like an update on the news and the top fights. And
okay, I need to go ahead and check that out.
And then I do a little heavy bag work myself just to show that I'm about that life too. You know what I'm saying?
That's a fire content, man. Yeah. Okay, my bad. I need to check that out. Okay.
Yeah, it's dope, man.
Cool.
And so that's just something that I like to do, for entertainment and enjoy. And so I watched that fight, and it was like 3 fights for that card, and led up to that fight, which was dope. Sean Porter ended up winning, but watched that fight at the crib. Took the boys to Dave and Buster's.
Nice.
And they was in there playing games, had a good old time. Oh, and then Sunday, watched the some of the games and stuff, and spent time with the fam, and that was it, man. It was a great weekend,
Cool.
And I did do some creating and created a new track, and was in the music production and practiced some DJing. But yeah, that was pretty much it, bro.
Okay, cool. For me this week, I finally got done with my whole 2K phase, my NBA 2K.
Did you win the championship?
Yeah, I did win the championship. I had OKC.
Couldn't quit. You gotta win that.
No, I kept. Man, I went against Golden State. Best believe I kept quitting the actual game and trying over and over again to beat them because they were beasts in it. But I finally figured it out, and so I finally got the whole 2K thing out of my way. Like, I'm done with it. I beat the game.
You didn't break no remote. Or
no
man.
Controller. It was one time, man. Even when I was beating Golden State, I was like, this is like how overpowered they are. Like, everybody's powerful. Like the damn Pachulia, whatever, the center. He's a goddamn. I mean, excuse my language. My bad. He's an artist in what he does in the game. They make him super powerful.
Yeah,
it's just crazy. And so I'm like I said, I'm done with the game. I beat the game. I got the championship. I ended up beating, of course, Golden State, but then the finals was like me and Boston, and I ended up sweeping them real easy. I didn't have to quit the game and try again over and over. I actually beat them really easy. I'm pretty sure it's because I played Golden State. But so that's important because then that allowed me to free up my time, my mental space to focus on things like, of course, music creation. I was like working on this beat like all week because like I felt like it was a special beat. I know you're not really supposed to get like super duper married to your craft. Like, well, let me reword that. You're not supposed to get like married to like the product. Like, the product is the product. You're supposed to be proud of it, but don't treat it as if like it's your lottery ticket. So, but basically, I just felt like the song was like really, really special, and I've been like trying to arrange the track so it could be really, really good. And I finally got to a breakthrough moment where I arranged it in a way that I think is really, really dope. And I played it for my homie on Friday who came over to the crib.
Yeah.
And he just started freestyling and spazzing out on it. So I think it's a for sure banger. I'm going to release that along with the other track I talked about on last week's podcast really soon.
Dope.
And I'll just let you guys know where to find it on the next podcast. So I'm having you guys hold me accountable to make sure I put out products and that I don't skimp the people because I know people want to hear good music and new
Stay
music. So,
busy, right? So, with that track, are you gonna write to it and
no,
or
I don't think the track is. I don't think this track is for me. I have a person in mind. It's this dope dude named Sage Rex, Wrex. I actually used to
Word.
work, or we used to work at the same spot, and I think he quit the job before me. But I would just see him randomly, and he, like, I think I just heard him on the phone talk about, oh, I do this rapping stuff, and then then I ended up bringing it up, like, hey, I thought I heard you say that you rap, and like, yeah, I do. And so anyway, he's a dope artist. He has some dope projects. Spring, winter, and summer. He had 3 projects out, and
Whoa,
they're
that's
dope. And make sure you check him out. I actually like him a lot. And so I think I'm gonna shop that beat to him and see what he thinks about it, and hopefully he'll hop on it.
nice?
We'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
And so I got that out the way, and like I was just saying, my homie came over on Friday, so we had a little jam session, just making some beats and just playing beats that I had already created. And so got some good feedback, had some very dope moments. Then the following day, I went out with my homie Quincy. We just kicked it, and had a few beers and chilled out. And then my homegirl came over. She's like very super creative with the writing and poetry.
Nice.
And so we kind of like usually like bounce ideas off of each other in terms of the creative process and that type of thing, I would say. And so let's say all in all, it was a pretty good weekend. The reason why I had so much time and so much freedom this weekend was because my fiance, she went out of town for her bachelorette shindig in Napa. So I had like a house to myself, which is me. Well, house to me and the dog, and so I had to make sure I had to feed the dog and make sure that she didn't die, because that would have been a big thing had she died over the weekend, of course. And so, I just had a good, solid introverted, super duper introverted. I love being an introvert. I'm just gonna say this, like, I'm probably a rare breed of people who actually like being alone at times. And so just had a good little recharge. And so that's why you probably see me with a lot more energy, and we will have a big amount of energy this show. So
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
in total, that was like my week. So let's go ahead and slide into the topic, which is experiences, the importance of having experiences. And so when I think about experiences, a lot of times I think about traveling, or just like having like moments in your life, just things that you can recall or reflect on and be proud of, or it could be a negative thing. Of course, you probably don't want to shoot to have negative things, but sometimes negative things happen and they occur, and they are experiences, and you can use those as some type of fuel to help your creativity. And so, like I said, let me go into, I guess, experiences for me that helped me as a person, as an individual, and which of course will help me creativity. That of course that will help me creatively. There you
Let
go.
them know.
And so, I'll say hands down for me, like traveling. Like traveling has been the biggest eye opener for me.
Yeah.
I love traveling. I will say this: what I learned from traveling in general, like this is the base thing. I learned that, or it's more so of a phrase. I learned that it depends. I know it sounds, kind of vague, but of course I'm going into detail. But so, like, in our minds, we have this concept of like what's right and what's wrong. And so when I travel, I realize that what's right and what's wrong really depends on where you are and who you're around. Like, for instance,
Really?
yeah, like in Paris, or like in France in general, like if you go out to eat in a restaurant, the waiter is not going to be all on top of you like they are here in the States.
Mm-hmm.
And they actually want to give you space because they understand that for the most people in like, I guess in France, or at least in Paris, I would say, they live in these small flats, like with like no room. And so they want to spend as much time as possible outside of their flats. I mean, flats meaning like their apartments. And so they actually like to go to restaurants and kick back and chill for hours and just talk and sip wine and do things like that.
Yeah.
And that's why you will see even in Paris, when you walk the streets, you'll see chairs facing out, because people there also love people watching. So you'll see that as you walk on the street. So
Yeah.
like, and that's normal over there. While over here, well, actually, before I get back to over here, nothing about like being in Paris or France is like they don't really want you to tip them because I don't want to say they find it offensive, but they don't want you to do it. Like they don't care for you to do that. Like that's like an American thing.
Not even like they don't want you to tip like big or even just like a little like
Not like because they see it as it's not necessary because they have, if I remember correctly, it's because like healthcare wise they're good and like basically they have a good amount of their needs met. I want to say maybe through the government. I'm not 100% sure, but I just learned this from an actual guy, of course, who lived there and a tour guide that yeah, over there tipping is not required. It's not needed type of thing, and some may actually feel offended if you actually tip them. I remember I tried to tip my tour guide who I did like a Black Paris tour, which was a tour centered around the Black history within Paris, which it has a lot of it. Like Thomas Dumas, who was a I would say a rival of sorts of Napoleon, and Napoleon kind of beefed with Thomas Dumas. I know I'm dropping history. He beefed with him because Thomas Dumas would best him in many ways as a leader within the army. And also, like, you know, Thomas Dumas had a son named Alexander Dumas who wrote the Three Musketeers.
Gotcha. Okay.
A lot of dope history over there in Paris. I know I just dropped that game right there. Anyway, to the point. It depends. Like, yeah, where you at, where you go. Like, so how that has helped me and or how I have incorporated that into my life. It's like I don't really see things as like black or white or like right or wrong, whatever. I just take things as situational. I don't try to put things in a box. And if you do that, or me doing that, has helped me just be more flexible. And when you're more flexible, you're more fluid with your creativity.
Taking it for what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's dope, man.
So I just said a mouthful. You want to hop in and talk about experiences, and then I can bounce back?
Sure, yeah. But what you were saying, that reminded me of kind of like Bruce Lee, where he said, you know, be water or be, you know, shapeless or formless so that you can form to whatever the situation is. So it's not necessarily right or wrong, like you said, but whatever it is. And that's like physical, like in combat, but also just in life in general, whatever life throws at you. And it's like the tree that bends with, you know, with what's going on. So it's right in alignment. You
that's
know?
funny. Like, you know, reading the 7 Spiritual Laws of Success. I might be wording the actual title wrong, but it's by Deepak Chopra. But he had the same thing about like being the flexible tree that bends, and not some other tree that I guess he referenced that was like more stiff one. Yeah, but like being flexible.
Most
Because it is very essential that you're flexible and that you're not rigid, because if you're rigid, that will kill your creativity. Absolutely. But like I said enough.
That's like the box. You said like putting things in boxes and stuff. But as far as experiences, yeah, man, it's something that is very valuable with the day-to-day life of a person, because, and it also goes into like, you know, being present now, so you can really enjoy those experiences. And
that's true.
Your mind, like this one book I was reading, it was saying that like how you remember things and retain it is that and this can be good or bad, or a bad situation or a good one, but your emotions get heightened, whether it be from negative or positive, but that like sticks in your mind because your emotions were raised so high. And you know that goes with experiences. So of course you want to have the more positive ones where your emotions are high, and in order for that to happen, you have to be present in that and be living in it, and not
absolutely
living in the past or worried about the future, but be present. And it was what we were talking about last week, like being conscious, you know. So that experiences they're very important, like to just enjoy life and to be positive, you know, and to help others. That positive attitude, that positive vibe, I think that energy will bring bring forth or attract, better experiences, those, great experiences that you can look back on and remember, not stay there, but,
That's
look
true.
back and, that was a great time, but move forward and in the present, like do what you're doing right now in the present, moving forward. But
Yeah.
yeah,
I would like to say I really like the fact that you saying that, like, not to stay in the past or even stay in the future. I think a lot of times we spend too much time in those imaginative places. In the book, The Seven Spiritual Laws of Success, Deepak Chopra says that time is the movement of thought. Meaning that,
That's
you
dope.
got the past, you got the future, and you got this present moment. And the past and the future are both like your imagination. Like it's not there. Like the past happened, it's dead. You can't go back. You can't change things. You can't go back and change what you ate at the age of 25. I wish I did.
Yeah.
I can't, change what's in the future. Well, I can't change what's in the future, but only if I focus on now. And so
Yeah.
it's very important to try to maintain focus and try to make sure that you focus on right now, this very moment, because Cass said this before in the previous podcast that, hey, right now is what really matters.
For sure.
And that's how you make your future different. You can't change your past. So.
Yeah, and that when you were saying that, it made me think of like that, dwelling in the past or worrying about the future is kind of similar to like social media, where you could, waste a valuable amount of time where you could be getting things done. You could be journaling, you could be planning things, brainstorming, you could be coming up with the next $1 million master plan, and it's not even about money. You could be coming up with the next idea that could be the power source of energy for the next, decade or whatever, So time is it's like what old boy said. Deepak, I know your name, Deepak.
Yeah.
But yeah, time is very, is priceless, and we should be trying to minimize the amount of time that we waste and let go, because we can never get that back.
I like that. Add on, like, because it's time and it's also your energy.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And your energy, you should cherish your energy. You should, like, I'm not sure how to word it, but just your energy is so significant, and you got to be able to be super duper conscious and mindful of what you give your energy to. Because your energy, I would say, your energy is time, or there's like definitely a correlation between the two. And so, yeah, for sure. Man, I think we hammered that one. That was pretty fire. That was pretty. I must say so myself.
Yeah, and I got a little more though. Hold on,
go ahead, go, man. We flowing, man. Go ahead, go.
Because what you were saying, how we should cherish our energy and time and all that. It reminded me. It's kind of off topic, but it can be used in the same way. Like this cat was saying that when you obsess with something, that it's like breathing.
Oh, wow.
That you gotta have it to breathe. Like,
wow,
it's breathing.
Wow.
So energy and time, if you look at it like breathing, like you gotta guard it and take care of it like breathing. I mean, who knows how far in a short period of time too, a person their whole trajectory would change, and their, the goals and everything they're trying to reach, how they would obtain it. I mean, and I'm just now us talking, discussing
That's
it right
fire.
now. It just comes, that's what I was saying. This is like therapy. When we start talking about this stuff, it just comes, and
that's
I think it's valuable. Some may not or whatever, but I think
man.
some
The reason why
stuff.
I'm disheveled at this moment, because that was so fire, I might have to add an explosion effect to this video, because that was so fire. Oh my God. Okay, let's keep the fire going and talk about how fan is fire, and talk about expanding and trying to get out of your comfort zone to have these different type of experiences that will help you overall become a better person, and which of course will lead to you becoming a better creator.
Most definitely. Yeah, the comfort zone, man. That it can be the enemy.
Mm-hmm.
That being comfortable and being afraid to step into your future, step into
That's true.
uh your best self.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? It's it's sticky. It's hard to get into that mindset, but I've heard several different people say that the brain it has a safeguard,
Mm-hmm.
and that's from, like, when we were hunting and humans had to get our own food, and we could have been eaten by a lion or whatever, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
so our
That's hilarious.
our brain has these safeguards and limits us, like, oh, we can't do this, don't do
Mm-hmm.
that, because you could kill us, you know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? It tries to protect the physical, the body, and protect us. So it puts up these safeguards and these the limits. But really, it's the critic, it's the hater.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, you can't
True,
do
true.
this, don't do this, or whatever. So you want to pretty much be comfortable being uncomfortable. Like, get to
Mm-hmm.
that point where
Mm-hmm.
you kind of, oh, well, I feel like I shouldn't do that. Well, I'm gonna do it and see what happens and see where it
True.
goes, because
Mm-hmm.
stepping into the only way to get to a level or a place that you've never been, you're gonna have to step out of that and do something that you never done. It's like
That's
what insanity says.
yeah.
If you do the same thing over and over again,
Expecting different results.
it's not gonna happen.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the definition of it.
No, what you just said made me think about me leaving my job. Like the fact that I was super duper uncomfortable at first with making that decision because
Yeah.
I didn't have active income coming in. I didn't have like an active like, okay, if I leave this job or when I leave this job, this security, I guess money wise, will be here. Nothing and none of that, and really, in fact, I haven't really made money within 2 months. I made some money, like a little, like couple hundred here and there, whatever, but not significant money. And you can imagine, of course, that will make a lot of people uncomfortable.
Right.
But it's funny because I feel like I'm comfortable now. Like I feel like I have found comfort within it. Like
Freedom.
yeah,
Feel free.
and to me, I think it is a great thing because that means I'm not tied to money. I'm not tied to these different things. Like I'm happy with my current life. Of course, do I want more? Absolutely. I have high goals and high visions for myself. But I think I'm at a very good point. The fact that I'm content with life, that I'm happy with life right now, because I don't have that mindset of like, all right, when this occurs, all right, happiness is gonna come, and because I know that's false.
Right.
But it took me like stepping out of my comfort zone and saying, you know what, this job is not for me. It's not making me happy. I'm not happy. I'm not fulfilled. It's affecting my relationships. I need to leave. And it took me being brave and stepping out of my comfort zone to be here in this current moment and be like, I'm good. And I would say, hands down, I'm the happiest I've been in years.
Broke them restrictions.
Yeah.
Broke them.
Yeah.
Changed
Yeah.
the bondage. You broke free. That's what's up.
I would say, hear me. I am happy,
Yeah.
which a lot of people cannot say, unfortunately, and it's sad. But we should at least have like the moment where we can say, okay, I'm happy. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm in a good spot. But it takes you sometimes breaking through your comfort zones and to get to these different points. I can even lead back into traveling about how some people will fear or feel uncomfortable going to a country where the language is super duper unfamiliar to them. Like some people can rock with Italy, France, or even Spain because some words are recognizable. You can kind of make your way through it, and more likely there will be an English speaker there. Um, Especially like if you speak like Spanish or any type of the Latin languages, you're good in like France, Italy, and Spain because like the words are very similar. But anyway, to the point, they will not go to places like Asia though because you just got like different signs and stuff like that. You're like, all right. There's no way to make out what the sign means because you just got these different characters and everything.
Yeah.
But I actually decided to do that. I actually decided to go with my fiance to Taiwan, and we had that experience. And the thing is, from being over there, I learned that there is a universal language that I don't have to speak. We don't have to speak the same language to understand each other. Like, for instance, we was in the elevator. Randomly, we were coming down from this gondola thing, whatever. Because we went up to this spot where they had like a bunch of I guess like tea, not tea farm, but a whole bunch of plants of teas where people go to this area to get tea. And so I was in this elevator, and this lady just pointing up at my hair, because my hair was like had like a little high top, whatever type of thing. Not high top, but like my hair was kind of froey up top. But anyway, she just pointed at my hair, and I can instantly know that she's like your hair defy gravity. Like, yeah, God. And or like the fact that we went to this Buddha monument, and like in the middle of nowhere, and we tried to make our way back to the city because we had to actually catch a train. This person there saw that we were struggling. They just came over, and they're like, they didn't really speak English like that. They had like little maybe broken English, but they knew that we were lost, and they ended up calling us a cab and helped us get over to where we needed to be. And so I was like, those are dope moments. Those are dope experiences that really help you realize that, oh shoot, that there's a universal language, and it just make you feel comfortable in a lot of ways. So yeah, experiences and getting out of your comfort zone is super duper essential. Do you have anything else to add on to it?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure. The out of the comfort zone it's like it tells into so many different things, like reaching that the best self that you can be, and reaching your potential, and even going further than that. Once you reach that, it's like an ongoing thing. You wanna push yourself, even like with lifting weights. It's like, it's also stress. Like you want to be able to handle stress very well. And like I was saying, be comfortable being uncomfortable, where you want to be comfortable handling stress. Like, even there's some like this cat Mike Rashid, he kind of opened my eyes to it, is where you stress is like a challenge. You see that challenge come, and you're like ready to take it on. And lifting weights, a lot of people don't know, or working out and all that is a great way to handle stress. And because you're doing that, you're exploding your muscles, and lifting and dealing with, if you're lifting with heavy weights or whatever, but pushing yourself regardless, you are dealing and handling stress physically, but it's also a mental thing, because you can stop or quit at any time, be like, oh no, I can't do this. Even you going to the gym and make it, getting your mind set and going there and doing it, instead of going to have a fat burger.
Hilarious.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
or whatever. So, but stress and dealing with stress and being uncomfortable and all that, that is, I think that goes hand in hand with it, and that was just another example of, like, handling stress with the weights and all that. It'll also prepare you for handling stress during, in everyday life when it comes.
Of course, and you need to be able to do that, because, of course, going out of your comfort zone is hella stressful at times. However, of course, you want to be able to manage your stress so you can get through your comfort zone, because that's, those zones is where life is. Really. Right. You're supposed to go towards the fear. That's why I'm realizing now, like with me trying to break out of my mental, I would say maybe prison, of me being super duper fearful of me rapping and me just telling all of my truth and how I feel about the world, racism, and all these different things, and which may cause people to look at me a different way. I can't really care about that. I have to get past that. I have to actually, not get past that, I have to run towards that fear and face it and be like, no, this is who I am. And the thing is, if people don't rock with me because I'm in my truth and this is who I truly am, then they're not really supposed to be around me. Like, my truth is supposed to be something that filter out people who should not be around me. Like, it's supposed to be that filter. That's what, that's one of the greatest benefits of truth. And so I have to get to that point to accept that and appreciate that, and then actually live my life that way. So.
It's like our podcast, like us doing this, like, that critic or whatever will come in my mind like, oh, some people, they may not like this, they may not feel our content and all this, but it's who cares? You face it. Like, I don't care what anybody else thinks. This is what we've been doing. I think it's good value and could help people. And we've gotten good reviews from people saying that it was enlightening and they learned things from it. So that's what it's about. It really doesn't matter what other people are thinking. You can't sit there and it's like, what if? And that's like the past or the future. Well, probably it would be the future. But that could also pertain to the past too, like dwelling in those things of what if this happened for some reason in the past because of this, and then in the future, what if this podcast, this one right here, we're about to drop on Wednesday, what if nobody likes it or people,
I would say the funny thing is, like, we always think about the most negative outcome. We never think about like, hey, what if this podcast talks somebody off the ledge? What if this podcast inspired the next Pac or whatever? Like, what?
It's that safeguard. It's that.
But we never.
It's that block from staying comfortable because it's that block. It's trying to block us from stepping over. And then it's also what we talked about last week. I went blank for a second. Okay. With that when we have those thoughts, the critic, the enemy. Flip it.
Introvert.
Like
you're right. You're right.
Like, flip that.
You're
and
right.
That's how we can nullify that and quiet that. You know what I'm saying?
It's funny though because I just had a thought that maybe that's how you realize that critic may not be valid. Like, if your critic is always a negative critic, then like it never thinks about the positive outcome. How much value do you want to really put in that critic? Because there's always multiple angles as to how things will work out. Like, there's never that one angle like, oh, it's going to end up bad.
Right.
So, I don't know. Maybe that can be a breakthrough to somebody. That's a breakthrough to me that, hey, maybe that critic, I really shouldn't take it serious at all. Of course, there's like your conscience that comes in like, hey, maybe you don't want to do this. Maybe you don't want to hurt somebody, that type of thing. But, yeah, like maybe that critic value should be highly diminished because that critic never has anything positive to say.
Yeah, especially if it's done out of fear.
That's true.
If that's the root of that thought or that that feeling, do it. Go against it. Flip it. Get them out of there. Kick that critic. Kick them out of there.
True. Fat though. All right, that's great, man. Fire upon fire. We hit the subjects nicely. I love it. Let's go ahead and hop into some tips that we can give the people who are trying to get their voice out, who are trying to reach people, change people's lives via podcast. It's a podcast. It's a wave right now. We just want to help other people catch this wave and put their voices out there and get heard. So what's some tips that you can give this week towards people who are starting their podcast and try to get their podcast out there?
Hey, we gave it to them earlier. Step out of your comfort zone. If you want to get your voice out there, if you have something that you feel you could, some content that some people could benefit from, or if you just going to give jokes, make people laugh, whatever you're trying to do, you should do that. Step out of that comfort zone, sweep that critic to the side or whatever the negative thoughts that would have you not do it, and just step out on faith or whatever, that energy, get out there and that's with anything, any area of life where you have an idea or something and then that second thought comes in and tries to nullify it. Don't allow it. Get out there and put yourself, present your gift, your content, and put yourself out there. That's it's my number one tip right there.
Cool. True. I think I kind of have two. I would say first is being truthful and just, make sure that you're true to yourself with your podcast, that you don't just try to do things just for the heck of it. Like, I had some earlier podcasts that if people dig up, boy, oh boy, I think they've been scrubbed from the internet, but boy, oh boy.
No, we gonna post the link right there. No.
Boy, oh boy, that old that old DeMarcus boy, man, that's crazy. The old Sean Breeze, that I gave my government name. But yeah, that was crazy. But now I feel like with this podcast, it's 100% truthful. The intentions are a lot more pure because the whole intent behind our podcast is that we want to help others, other creators, other people in general. You don't have to be a creator. We just want to help people in general, become the best version of themselves.
Yeah.
And, live life to the fullest, because that's what we're here for. We're here to have a very good, very dope life experience. That's your God-given right. If you're a believer, if you're not, whatever, but you still have a right to be here and have a good life experience.
Yeah.
And so, I would say, man, make sure that you're being truthful 100%, and also make sure that your intention is good and pure, and that you lay out your intentions of your podcast or whatever you're trying to put out. Like, all right, if I intend, like, with your podcast, say that, all right, you want to help bring awareness to the homeless issue that we have in America. Just make sure that your intent is clear that, hey, with every show, I'm trying to find a way to bring awareness to the homeless issue that we have in America, and I'm bring ways for people to help out with the issue.
Definitely.
So, make sure that you stay truthful and that your intent is pure. I think you're good to go.
Yeah, consistency with that.
Absolutely, too. Absolutely.
Sure.
And so, with that said, this has been the 8th episode of the Creative Masterminds Podcast.
Yay.
Man, I can't lie to you guys. This was a fire podcast. Not to pull our coats, whatever, but we'll let you guys be the judge. But I'll say
That's right.
I don't want to talk too much. I don't want to talk that talk yet. But anyway, Cass, give your socials out.
Yeah, on Instagram you can catch me at CAS_THREE.
Yeah.
And y'all look out for that glove talk and all that on there. And yeah.
Cool bet.
That's it.
For me, at Sean Breeze on Instagram. Also, check me out on Facebook, OG Sean Breeze. Twitter, OG Sean Breeze. We also have a Creative Masterminds We have the Creative Masterminds Facebook
page, yeah.
It is the Creative Masterminds Podcast on Facebook, because somebody already took the Creative Masterminds, but so it's the Creative Masterminds Podcast, and that's the name of the page. But I'm pretty sure you can find us just by searching the Creative Masterminds on Facebook. We also have the Instagram, the Creative Masterminds.
Y'all like and subscribe.
Yeah, and subscribe. Also on YouTube as well. And so check us out on there, SoundCloud too. And so this has been the Creative Masterminds Podcast, Fire Podcast, the 8th episode.
Yeah.
And thank you guys for tuning in. We really do appreciate it.
Y'all be blessed.
All right. Peace out.